Okay.
I mean, what is the brass tacks of this whole thing? Because they're keeping the wool so firmly over people's eyes, Roger.
Let's see, brass tacks, wool. God, I'm so confused. I'm blonde. No. Actually, my personal take on the remediation of this base would have been probably really needed to come in here and literally take down, I don't even know how many feet, 20, 30 feet of all the soil and just haul it to a hazardous waste site. I believe that almost all of this soil is contaminated to one degree or another, both from the practices previous to the base usage, when it was lima bean fields, etc., for the Irvine Company and all of their minions of darkness, which is what the Irvine Company did, is rape Orange County. And all of this land probably had pesticides and herbicides. The soil already had it in it. Then they turned it over to the military, and then the military used it and abused it. We had several landfill sites. I'm sure they were not properly lined. So once again, and it sounds extreme, but I think that they did not look at this from the beginning. I served on the base rehab committee, the subcommittee for hazardous waste. We started out with a budget of around $500 or $600 million, and that particular aspect, just that committee alone, we were already up in the space of a couple of years to $1.2 billion. I noticed nobody has gone up to that figure yet, but actually I think it would require a lot more than $1.2 billion. They're going to end up spending billions of dollars, and not only that, but once again, as soon as they start tearing up all this asphalt and concrete, the soil beneath it is going to be contaminated. A lot of that's going to have to be taken, and where are these hazardous landfills? Well, wonderful places like Kettleman City, that's already experienced abuse, off the 5 freeway up in the San Joaquin Valley. All of this soil, as far as I'm concerned, all of this soil is potentially highly contaminated, hazardous waste soil, meaning it's got to be taken somewhere. You can't remediate this amount of soil right on the site. Just as they can't remediate the aquifer because it keeps replenishing itself, pulling all the toxins and pollutants into the actual groundwater where it moves and travels, regardless if they use it for drinking water or not. Whether they use it for potable, to me, is irrelevant. Just to reuse the water knowing you have damaged goods is not a very bright idea. So you got the combination of the soil contamination already found, the water contamination already found, and the potential. I am absolutely positive that when they start ripping up all the old roads and all the tarmacs and everything else, what they're going to find is that soil in turn is also contaminated. What'll be interesting is if they choose to divulge or disclose that, or if they'll try to sweep that under the carpet with the rest of the cover-ups, like Colonel Sabo's quote suicide, or some of the other cover-ups with the remediation of the whole site. This is just nothing but a black hole of money, and I don't think the taxpayers were warned. I don't think the people that are even getting the goods, even Lennar, who I despise, even Lennar is probably not quite sure exactly what they're getting. So this is all what's it called, a pig in a poke? This is all really just a crapshoot, and I think it's a really poor one using taxpayer money.
The city of Irvine, the Marine Corps, the Department of the Navy, the Irvine Ranch Water District, the Irvine Company, they're all here to just make money.
The bottom line is they are not completely removing all of the volatile organic chemicals or compounds. They're not removing the perchlorate. They're only getting them down to what they call acceptable levels of risk, and they are then taking the waste and they are sending it to outfall pipes that go out into the ocean. They don't go out very far. The one at Aliso, that one's the 700,000 gallons per day. That's 700,000 gallons per day of highly contaminated briny waste from the treatment plant out here. They do recover about 60% of the water, but once again, they're using that for landscape. So all they're doing is taking water that's already contaminated, cleaning it down to a certain level that they think is acceptable, and then they're broadcasting it and spraying it all over everything.
From the former El Toro Marine Corps Air Station in Irvine, California, I'm Tim King reporting for SalemNews.com.